From Beaver to Spring Valley, Red Bluff to Shingletown, Anderson to Manton, and all of the hometowns in between. Good evening and welcome to PG&E's Community Wildfire Safe. The Regional Senior Manager for PG&E's North Valley Division, and I will be your host and moderator this evening. We've been doing these webinars for a couple of years, so if you've been to one before, thanks for coming back. And if this is your first one, welcome. We're here to share information about what we are doing to reduce wildfire risk and make our electric system safer. On the next slide, we have some information on accessibility. You can participate in this webinar with American Sign Language by clicking the link that was just provided in the chat. If you would like to get this information in a language other than English, we will be hosting an in-language presentation this summer. Please check pge.com/webinars for a schedule. To review real-time closed captions in English, Spanish, or Chinese, please click the CC. Adjusting the captions, subtitles, language. We want to make sure you have an opportunity to ask questions and to give us feedback. Our presentation will be approximately 30 minutes, plus time for Q&A. If you would like to ask a question, please send it at the end, please send it at any time in the chat. If we are not able to get to your question today, please feel free to reach us at wildfiresafety@pge.com. That's our email address. You can use it at any time you like. Again, that's wildfiresafety@pge.com, and we will respond promptly to your email. We will be recording today's presentation, and we'll post it on our website at pge.com/webinars. With that, I'll hand it over to our Regional Safety Director, Paul Jeske, to start this webinar as we start all of our meetings.
Thank you, Jim. As Jim was indicating, we start all of our meetings here at PG&E with a safety message, and so this is no different. We want to share a safety message with you. So as we head into wildfire season, we encourage each and every one of you to prepare for any type of natural disaster or emergencies by first building a disaster supply kit for you, your family, or your business. Make sure you include in your kit all the normal things like food, water, your medications, flashlights, first aid kits, a list of contacts, emergency contacts, and anything else that you might find that you'll need to keep you and your family safe. So you can learn more about how to build some of these kits and prepare for emergencies by visiting safetyactioncenter.pge.com. That's safetyactioncenter.pge.com. We just want to make sure if you're faced with any type of emergency that you and your family are best prepared to act and respond. So with that, I'll give it back to you, Jim.
Right, thank you, Paul. Now let's take a look at this evening's agenda. We're going to talk about how we identify and reduce wildfire risk, the wildfire safety work happening in your community, an overview of safety outages and how they keep our community safer, and resources we have available for our customers to help them prepare. Let's move on to the next slide. All right, looking at this slide, I see it's the introductions time for this evening, and we are fortunate to have some of the best from PG&E tonight with us. You're going to enjoy hearing from them. Joining me tonight are Joe Wilson, Regional Vice President, North Valley Sierra Region, Paul Jeske, who you just heard, who's our Regional Safety Director, organization. She's a local government affairs representative. Let's take a look at what's coming up next. Oh, it's our overview. So with that, I'd like to turn the presentation over to Joe Wilson, your Regional Vice President for Lassen, Shasta, and Tehama counties, to discuss the work we are doing to prevent wildfires. Take it away, Joe.
Thanks, Jim. Good evening, everyone. As Jim mentioned, I'm Joe Wilson, and I have the privilege of serving as PG&E's Regional Vice President for the North Valley Sierra region. Actually had the chance to spend some time in Shasta and Tehama County today. So tonight, we get a chance to talk a little bit about what we're doing to make our electrical system safer for our communities. And we've made a lot of progress over the past 5 years. But if we're really going to make the most impact possible, we have to really focus our efforts on where wildfire risk is the greatest. So here on the screen, what you can see is where risk exists in Tehama, Lassen, and Shasta counties. So the orange areas that you see as high fire risk areas are areas where we're really focusing our wildfire safety work. Now, we launched our wildfire safety program in 2018, so we're about 5 years in. And really, our number one goal is to keep our customers and communities safe in the face of growing wildfire threats. And as I mentioned, we've made a lot of progress over 5 years. And we have layers of protection in place to help us prevent wildfires. Some of the layers include we're strengthening our system with stronger poles, covered power lines, enhanced vegetation management work where we're really trimming or removing trees that have the risk of coming into contact with power lines. We're undergrounding 10,000 miles of electric distribution. And as a last resort, we have a tool in our toolbox, public safety power shutoffs. In fact, today I was in Reading where our team was doing a live action drill on a PSPS exercise so that if we do need to use that tool in our toolbox, we can implement it in a very effective way to try and keep the interruption as short as possible. We know that when the power does go out, it's a hardship for all of our customers. So we're focusing on how do we expand our support for especially some of our most vulnerable and highly impacted customers. We're working hard. We know that we have a lot more to do. I mentioned how we have multiple layers of protection. Since we launched our community wildfire safety program, we've eliminated 90% of wildfire risk from our system. And the way we've been able to accomplish that is by combining ongoing safety efforts, long-term improvements, new tools that give us enhanced situational awareness. And we don't just rely on one of those measures. They're all kind of stacked on top of each other or layered to give us as much protection as possible. So let's talk a little bit about what's new in Lassen, Shasta, or Tehama County. So you can see this is a map of some completed and planned work in and around these three counties. And you can see, again, as I described, we're focusing on those areas that have the highest wildfire risk. And it's kind of hard to see the little dots and kind of exactly what individual project that is, but it gives you a good indication of just how much work we have in these three counties. So the categories are planned and completed undergrounding miles, overhead system hardening, where we do cover the power lines, sectionalizing devices that are installed, installing weather stations and high-def cameras. So really a lot of work that is going on in these three counties. So to kind of do a little bit of a deeper dive on our vegetation management work, we're inspecting vegetation on about 100,000 miles of power lines every year across 2/3 of California. And what that represents is it generates a lot of work. We prune or cut down more than 1 million trees that present a hazard. We do more trimming when we've had a high volume of vegetation-caused outages to try and create a more resilient system. So together, that work reduces wildfire risk and improves reliability. Now, if any safety work is planned on your property, you can expect an advance notification from us by either text or email. If you want to learn more about our vegetation management program, you can visit pge.com/trees. I mentioned a little bit earlier that we are reducing wildfire risk by strengthening poles and installing covered power lines. We call that overhead system hardening. And this work helps us to prevent wildfires and significantly improves the reliability during some of the winter weather. We've had a tremendously difficult winter, but overall, Lassen, Shasta, Tehama counties, we've been able to weather the storm pretty well. And we really point to the work that we've done on our system to how well we have fared during some of these extreme weather events. Over the past 5 years, we've completed 14 overhead line mile system hardening projects in Tehama County and 146 miles of new overhead hardened line in Shasta County. And we're currently working on about another 4 miles in Tehama County and 28 miles in Shasta. One of the best tools, though, when it comes to helping us improve situational awareness and respond to risk, is we built our own network of high-definition weather cameras and weather stations. And you can see those yourself if you go to pge.com/weather. It really is amazing, the resolution and the coverage that these cameras give us. So in 2022, we were able to install, or we reached our goal of installing 600 high-def cameras. And that has given us a view of 90% of the high fire risk areas that we serve. We're also installing advanced weather stations, which give us real-time information, which can be very valuable for things like public safety power shutoffs. In 2022, we installed 4 weather stations and 6 high-def cameras in Tehama County, and 1 weather station and 9 high-def cameras in Lassen, and 3 weather stations and 9 high-def cameras in Shasta. One of the biggest things, though, that we are doing to really improve community safety when it comes to wildfire related to electric assets, we made an announcement in July of 2021 that we are going to underground 10,000 miles of electric distribution in the areas with the highest risk. And we made that decision, not lightly, but because it's the best long-term solution for keeping our customers and communities safe. When we put power lines underground, it reduces ignition risk by 99% in that location. It limits future safety power outages. It improves system reliability when we have storms, and it decreases the need for future tree work. Undergrounding also helps us to lower our ongoing maintenance and veg management costs. So once an area is selected for undergrounding, we closely look at each proposed project with an eye to how can we eliminate the most risk possible, effectively and efficiently. In 2022, we completed 1 mile in Tehama County and 13 miles in Shasta County. And this year, we are working on 49 miles in Tehama County and 97 miles in Shasta County. So you can see that we're really trying to ramp up our efforts when it comes to putting these miles underground. Now, when we put the lines underground, we're going to see a big benefit when it comes to a resilient system. Not only will it help reduce wildfire risk, but when we have the major storms that we had again this winter, we tend to see fewer outages. So that's a benefit for our customers. Now we're going to continue to share details about our undergrounding work. In the future, maps of our undergrounding work in your community can be found at pge.com/underground. So with that, let me hand it back to Jim to talk about wildfire safety outages.
All right, thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. As Joe mentioned, we'll be talking about enhanced power line safety settings and public safety power shutoffs next. Next slide, please. So lots of information on the slide regarding our enhanced power line safety.
Looks like we may have lost Jim. So I will do my best to.
Can you hear me now?
We got you. You cut out for a bit.
Okay. Well, yeah, things are going a little bit rough tonight from the home office here in Butte County. So we'll see where things head. But it's going to provide some context for our enhanced power line safety settings before I break down this slide a little bit further. In 2021. We started a pilot of about 170 circuits in the highest fire risk areas and installed more sensitive safety settings on those circuits. We call them enhanced power line safety settings. These advanced safety settings automatically turn off power within 1/10 of a second if there is a problem to help stop wildfires before they have a chance to start. Concept is very simple.
Okay, Jim, I think we lost you again. So I'm going to go ahead and hop on if you don't mind. So as Jim was talking, the concept's pretty simple. The power shuts off in about 1/10 of a second when an object strikes the line. It could be a bird, it could be a branch that is blown in. And what that does is that helps to prevent the risk of ignition. In fact, last year we saw, using this tool, a 68% reduction in ignitions on EPSS enabled circuits. So before we can start, turn the power back on, we want to go ahead and check the lines for damage. And we do those patrols either by helicopter, truck, or sometimes on foot, depending on the terrain and the conditions that we're dealing with. Let's go to the next slide. Now, in Lassen, Tehama, and Shasta County, 100% of all of the lines in the high fire risk area have this enhanced power line safety setting enabled. And we saw the average outage duration of about 3.5 hours, which we understand is significant to customers who are without power. But it is also something that we're working on to try and drive that time down by pre-positioning resources when these EPSS settings are enabled. We saw a total number of outages at 190, and it was a variety of causes. 34% of them were animal related, 25% were third party. It could be somebody hitting a power pole, equipment failure, vegetation impacts. So it really kind of runs the gamut. Go to the next slide. Now, if you want to learn more about this program, you can go to pge.com/EPSS. And some of the things that we've done to try and improve our response to these circuits that are enabled with enhanced power line safety settings is we've installed fault indicators that help us to spot trouble more quickly. We've adjusted the sensitivity of safety settings, put bird and animal guards in some pieces of equipment. And again, we've done more vegetation management work. Let's go to the next slide. Now, the tool of last resort that we use is a public safety power shutoff. And I talked a little bit about how our team up in Reading today was doing a live action drill, kind of running a play, like practicing, to make sure that we can run or use this tool efficiently and effectively if we need it. Now, we only have to enable this tool of a public safety power shutoff when winds are really, really extreme. When winds can blow branches from several tens of feet into lines. So sometimes we do have to enable that. Last year, we didn't have any public safety power shutoffs in Lassen, Shasta, or Tehama County that we had to enable, but we got close a couple of times. Go to the next slide. Now, the difference between enhanced power line safety settings and PSPS is enhanced power line safety settings are enabled when fire conditions exist and are extreme. So most likely from May to November, depending on kind of the weather. Now, public safety power shutoffs, you will get notification if we've decided to use that tool, because it is a planned it's a planned shutoff. You'll get texts, calls, and emails with updates regularly to let you know kind of the progress that we're making and when you can expect power to be restored. Now, with our enhanced power line safety settings, you'll get regular outage updates after the outage occurs, but because it's 1/10 of a second that these lines will trip out, you won't get advanced notice because we don't know what might cause those settings to have to deploy. Let's go to the next slide. Brendan, I think you're going to go ahead, or Ayla, I think you're going to take on supporting our customers in our communities. So let me turn it over to Ayla Tucker.
Thank you, Joe. My name is Ayla Tucker. And I'm the Government Affairs Representative for Tehama, Lassen, and Shasta counties. We want you to know that support is available during outages. So over the next several slides, I'm going to be highlighting some specific support options. First off, to our community resource centers. Next slide. Oh, we're at that slide. During a PSPS event, we open local community resource centers where you can access resources like basic power needs for charging medical equipment, electronic devices like cell phones in a safe location. We also offer up-to-date information about the PSPS event and water and snacks and other essential items at these locations. You can find a community resource center near you during a PSPS event by visiting pge.com/CRC. And then as you can see, we've put a quick list of what resource centers we have and in which respective communities you can find those in. Next slide, please. We're also working with the California Foundation for Independent Living Centers and 16 participating disability disaster access and resource centers to provide support before and during public safety power shutoffs. This includes hotel stays, food stipends, and transportation as needed for eligible customers with access and functional needs. If you or another member of your household depends on electricity to meet their medical needs, please reach out to your local Disability Disaster Access and Resource Center for assistance. More information on this type of support can also be found at pge.com/DDAR. We also provide portable batteries to our customers and refrigeration for medication as part of the Portable Battery Program and the Disability Disaster Access and Resource Program. Since we started the program in 2020, PG&E has distributed more than 18,000 portable batteries to eligible customers, but we're not done yet. So for 2023, we have increased funding and expanded eligibility for the generator and battery rebate program. We have also expanded eligibility for the Portable Battery Program. You can visit pge.com/portable battery for more information on eligibility requirements. Last year, PG&E developed a new meter design to make it easier for customers to use backup power during emergency outages. These meters provide a safe and convenient way to connect portable generator power to your home in just a few minutes. This program is free to customers with a compatible generator. We will be reopening applications for eligible customers later this year. And I can tell you personally, I really like this program. I know several customers who have taken advantage of this program. And for those with generators that qualify, it really is a game changer when unanticipated or planned outages occur. So for more information, you can go to pge.com/transfer meter. We also want to highlight the Self-Generation Incentive Program, which offers rebates to save on energy storage systems in your home or business. Whether an outage is planned or unplanned, a battery would allow you to have backup power for your home and business. So if you're interested in more information, please visit pge.com/SGIP. I will now turn it back over to Joe, who will share more customer safety resources.
Thanks, Ayla. Appreciate it. So more customer resources and information about our efforts can be found at pge.com/wildfire-safety or /wildfire-safety, or going directly to the pages here. Now, one of the tools we have is our Report It Safety app. So it's a tool that you can use to report and submit photos of non-emergency safety concerns directly to us. Now, in case of an emergency, such as a downed or sparked power line, please call 911. Don't use the app. Now, our teams will investigate every submitted safety issue and respond within 30 days. Now, in Tehama County, there have been about 12 reported app submissions, 1 in Lassen and 37 in Shasta. So if you're one of our customers who have submitted that, thank you. Now, we'll go ahead and transition to the Q&A portion of today's event. In a few days, we'll have the presentation posted to our website. And looks like we are slowly getting a few questions in. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a question related to veg management. And I know I've got one of the experts with me to help me out. So Josh Coleman, question for you. What can one of our customers expect when we have veg management work to do on their property?
Thanks for the question, Joe. And Thank you, everyone. My name is Josh Coleman. I'm a supervisor for PG&E's vegetation management activities. I actually get to oversee Shasta and Tehama County, including the bit of Lassen County. So really, this is my hometown. This is my area. And so regarding the question as to what to expect with our veg management work, what I can tell you is we've really ramped up our customer notification process. And really what we mean by that is being able to pre-identify the properties that are slated to be inspected and pruned next. And so we've really taken a stance to increase our customer notification. So on the forefront, you can expect a notification that the inspection work is coming up, followed by an individual inspecting the trees along the power lines. And then additionally, based off of the findings, and if there's work that needs to be completed on your property, the next step would be, again, another customer notification prior to the dispatch of the tree crews to complete the work. And then feathered inside of that, my expectation of my folks in the field is that personal connection for the notification prior to accessing the property in most situations, and being able to have a conversation about what work PG&E is required to do to maintain the safety of our power lines within our vegetation. So great question. Thank you very much for that one.
Thanks, Josh. Really appreciate your expertise and your leadership for our veg teams up there in Shasta County and Tehama. Okay, looks like we haven't gotten very many questions, so want to prompt the audience again. If you do have a question about anything related to wildfire, please feel free to put it in the Q&A, and we will go ahead and do our best to answer it. One of the things that when we do have emergency events, we've really developed a strong partnership with the 211 organization. So that will provide you as a customer with free confidential support resources via calls or texts. So all you have to do is call 211. So let me go ahead and ask each of the leaders or experts here on the call, what is one of the takeaways that you would like our customers to have from tonight's presentation? Paul, let me start with you.
Thank you, Joe. I guess one of my key takeaways I'd like you to, or one key takeaway is preparedness. Make sure you prepare. We have several resources that I outlined at the beginning to make sure you're prepared for any type of natural disasters. We also have our series 7 Saturday series that has a great amount of information too that helps you prepare not only your home, but keep your family, community safe with various tips on wildfire prevention and making sure that you're protecting your home. So preparation, that'd be the one key takeaway for you all.
Thanks, Paul. That's super important. Let's next go to Ayla. What would be one key takeaway you want our customers to leave tonight with?
Yeah, I think one of the key takeaways for me and what I hope those listening on this webinar today is that we really value feedback. We want input into the programs, into the service that we provide, and we want to be responsive to that. I went over a lot of different customer programs, and a lot of those programs over the years have been developed because we've gotten feedback from the communities that we serve. We are listening, we are improving, and we want to have that open dialogue so that we continuously improve our programs and we be responsive to the needs of our customers and the communities we are very privileged to serve.
Thanks, Ayla. Really appreciate that. Josh, let me come to you next.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. And working inside veg management, I know that this one can be kind of a hot topic. And so, you know, when Joe asked the question, it kind of made my gears turn. And ultimately what I came up with is just that I understand how impactful 2021 and 2022 were from an EVM standpoint, that enhanced vegetation management work that we did in a lot of areas. And I understand that it impacted your work, your day, your property. It impacted a lot of things. And I just want you to understand that as the leader of veg management for this area, I truly understand what those impacts were, and myself and my team are working every single day to improve that, not only for now, but in the future. And just the understanding that although it was impactful at times, we need to go back to the numbers and look at how significantly we were able to reduce the wildfire ignitions from our facilities when we have vegetation conflicts. And really that is what drives me every single day. And you have my word knowing that from a vegetation management standpoint, the bigger PG&E as a whole, that we are doing everything we can, number one, to ensure that we're taking your personal and your property into consideration, and we're working in a partnership in doing all of that. So I would say that would be the biggest takeaway, Joe.
Thanks, Josh. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Ayla, for being our experts today. I think the one takeaway I would ask our customers to leave with tonight is to know that we're putting safety first, and it shows in the work that we're doing every single day across a variety of areas. Shasta, Tehama, Lassen counties, we're hardening our lines, we're doing vegetation work, we're trying to increase situational awareness, we're undergrounding our lines at a scale that has never been seen before in the entire country, the commitment that we've made to undergrounding. PG&E has a new leadership team. We are building a better version of the utility. We are focused on safety, and we know how impactful it is when we do our job right and if we don't do our job well. So you have our commitment that we will do everything that we can to make sure that our communities are safe and that catastrophic wildfire shall stop. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for giving us the privilege of being able to serve you. Again, if you have further questions or comments, you can reach out to us at wildfiresafety@pge.com. And please give us your thoughts. Thank you again. Have a wonderful night.